spicy, tomatoey, and you betcha I've put some little Asian ingredients in here that you wouldn't really expect. We're making my version of that classic Middle Eastern dish, shakshuka. Alright guys, you know me, I am so happy when things are spicy. I'm also very happy when there are spicy things and eggs. That's another thing that I love, which is why I really love this dish. Let's get going on pulling this dish together. It's a one pan kind of thing, which is really great for breakfast. It's not messing around too much. I just want a little bit of oil in here, and I'm gonna go in first with my onions. And I always like to add a little bit of salt to my onions when I'm softening them in the pan. The salt helps to draw out the moisture from the onions, helps them get nice and sweet and tender, and just sort of adds to that layering of flavor effect that I always like to go for. So always try to be seasoning along the way rather than just at the end. Now the other thing with onions is that if you leave them raw at the beginning, you will have raw onion at the end. You know, that raw, harsh kind of onion flavor. You really need to be a bit patient with the onions. Just make sure that they're really nice and soft. So at least 5 minutes, and that's like a proper 5 minutes, not, you know, oh, 5 minutes, you know? Not like your kind of 5 minutes, Dax.
It's cold. Cut me deep. Cut me deep.
Because it's true though, because you're always like, I'm 5 minutes away, 5 minutes away, and then doing the lights, and then like half an hour later, which I don't mind because lighting makes me look better. So thanks, Dax. Now while I'm waiting for my onions, I can go ahead and chop my capsicum or bell pepper if you're in the US. You could also use like some really large, mild, like chilies as well if you wanted to. Like some nice kind of big banana chilies or something would be nice. Now I do want quite a sort of small dice here. So I want the capsicum to almost melt and sort of become one with the tomato sauce if you like. Okay, everything is lovely and aromatic in that pan now. So I'm gonna go in with my capsicum. Need some garlic. Now you want to give that capsicum time to soften down a little bit as well, a couple of minutes. And also some ginger. So this is where we start to stray from the typical classic kind of recipe here. I really love ginger in the morning. I think there's something about, you know, having grown up in a Thai family and my mom making, you know, Thai rice soups or like congee style things with ginger. Always very comforting thing for me. Just gonna break a little piece off here. This is like a really young ginger. The skin's really thin, so I'm just gonna go straight in without peeling it and just grate it in. And again, give those aromatics time to make friends in there. Get that garlic nice and soft along with the onions. Now we're gonna add some tinned tomatoes. And here we go again with, you know, some special ingredients or not so traditional ingredients, but I'm gonna go in with some gochujang, which is some Korean fermented chili paste. This guy is so fabulous. And it's just like, you know, it's not too spicy, but it has a really beautiful, almost like it's like almost a smoky kind of flavor to it. And this is gonna add some nice heat, but also some nice flavor. I also want some soy sauce. And a cup of water. A little dash of sugar to round out all the salty kind of flavors. Now you want to kind of just dissolve that gochujang in there. Just might need a little bit of help with the stirring. Now get that bubbling and then turn the heat down and just let that simmer away for 20 minutes and then we'll come back and see how we're going. Now just before my tomatoes are ready, I'm just gonna slice up some herbs here. I've got some coriander. And now I know a lot of you don't like coriander, so if you don't, just leave it out or add another kind of herb. Dill would be nice here, or some extra spring onion, some chives. And I also want some spring onion as well. So let's come back and have a look at what's going on in our pan here. Things are looking concentrated, thick, rich, yum. That looks really good. Okay, so what we want to do now is add our final little bits and pieces. I've got my coriander that we chopped, so I'm going to throw that in. And here's another little bit of crazy, which is really awesome. This little ingredient makes this so extra special. Sesame oil, just a little dash of sesame oil here, and that really makes such a world of difference. You get this really beautiful big hit of like toasty sesame at the end. It's really good. So just give that a stir, not too much, like I kind of want that coriander to sort of sit on the top there so I can see it. Now for the eggs. So just make yourself a little kind of sort of rough hole in there. It's not really a hole, but just kind of spoon out some of that sauce. Now go in with an egg. Now I'm going to do 4 eggs here. Now, to get the perfect egg for you, this might go a couple of different ways here. So I like to have the egg whites just set. I mean, no one likes a runny egg white. That's kind of a bit gross. I like the egg whites set, but I like my yolks kind of runny. So to do that, I get some foil on the top. I'm just going to really gently let that simmer away for about 4 minutes, but I'm going to come back and check it quite often because I don't want those yolks to overcook. If you wanted well-cooked eggs, maybe give it like 6-8 minutes or so. Okay, let's have a look at what's going on in here because it's certainly smelling amazing. Oh, that looks good to me. So the whites look like they're set. That yolk is still nice and squishy in there. That's great. All right, final little bits and pieces here. I just want a sprinkling of spring onion. Oof, that looks good. Now you could serve this with toast, you could serve it on its own. I love to have some roti bread or some naan bread to dip. Certainly need something to dip, I think. Now, let's get in here and see what's happening. Oh, wow, look at that yolk, perfect. Nice runny eggs, I love them. But you could do them any which way that you like, so. That sesame oil smell is so lovely. Hot, but very good. Oh, that's such a nice amount of like spice. Oh, that certainly would wake me up in the morning. Love it. If you're not a spicy person, you could like reduce the amount of gochujang, but that is so perfect and tomatoey and rich and all the things. Oh, gotta get in here with some of this bread. Yum. That really is like perfect breakfast for me. Yum.
If you've got any comments or questions, pop them below. And if you enjoyed the video, why not hit that subscribe button plus the little bell one, and that way you'll get notified every time I release a new video. Thanks guys.